The story you are about to hear is not just about a man. It is about faith, courage, and love. It begins in the heart of ancient Rome, where the emperor's law is stronger than the wishes of the people. Soldiers are not allowed to marry, and love must be hidden in the shadows, afraid of punishment. Live the story moment by moment. Improve your English and enjoy every part of this exciting journey. Chapter 1: The Laws of Rome. Ancient Rome, a city of power, law, and discipline. The streets are filled with soldiers, marching in perfect lines. The people obey the emperor's rules without question. To disobey? Dangerous. To challenge him? Deadly. The ruler, Emperor Claudius II, believes love is a weakness. He needs an army, strong and fearless. He decides that soldiers must not marry. A man in love will not fight with a strong heart, he says. A husband will not leave his wife to die on the battlefield. The law is clear. Marriage is forbidden. Young men must serve Rome, not their families. The people whisper, but they do not protest. Who would dare? Who would risk everything for love? One man. A priest? A believer? A rebel? His name? Valentine. By day he walks among the people. By night he listens to their sorrow. Young lovers, afraid, separated, helpless. They come to him in secret. They beg him. They cry. And he cannot turn them away. With quiet words and steady hands, he joins them in marriage. In small, hidden rooms, under the cover of darkness, he speaks the sacred vows. The couple hold hands. They promise their love. They kiss and they leave. Husband and wife. But secrets do not last forever. One cold evening, a soldier watches from the shadows. He sees the lovers arrive. He listens. He waits. Then he runs to the emperor. Claudius is furious. His face burns with anger. A traitor? He roars. A priest who dares to break my law? The punishment? Death? Guards search the city. Doors crash open. People scream. Valentine is found, dragged from the chapel, shackled in iron. The streets are silent as he is led away to prison. The cell is dark, cold. The stone walls press in around him. He sits alone, waiting, listening to the sound of chains. But he is not forgotten. The jailer watches him. He hears the priest's voice, calm, kind, unafraid. He sees the way Valentine speaks to the guards, how he smiles even in chains. He tells his daughter, "This man is different." Curious, she comes to see the prisoner. She is young, full of questions. She brings him bread, water. She listens to his stories, stories of love, of hope, of faith. and he listens to her. She tells him about the world outside, the sun, the trees, the life she wishes she could see more clearly. Her eyes do not work as they should. The world is blurred, a shadow. Valentine takes her hands. His voice is soft. Love is a light that no darkness can hide. She smiles, and for the first time, she believes him. The days pass. The girl returns again and again. She brings fresh flowers, small gifts, letters. They talk for hours, forgetting the prison walls, forgetting the danger. Then, the guards come. The emperor's order is final. Valentine must die. The girl weeps. She grips his hands through the iron bars. No, it isn't fair. But Valentine does not cry. He is calm. He knew this day would come. He takes a piece of paper, writes carefully, folds it, and places it in her hands. Read this after I am gone. She holds it close to her heart as the guards take him away. February 14th. The city is silent. The people bow their heads. The executioner stands ready. Valentine kneels. He whispers a final prayer. The air is cold. The sword is raised. A moment of silence. Then the sound of steel. That night, the jailer's daughter opens the letter. 2 words are written at the bottom. From your Valentine. A message of love. A message of hope. And a name that will never be forgotten. Chapter 2. A boy named Valentine. Rome, a city of power, of war, of laws written in stone. The streets are alive with merchants, soldiers, and noblemen. The poor struggle, the rich feast, and the empire grows stronger every day. In this world, where strength is praised and love is forgotten, a child is born. His name is Valentine. He is not a warrior, not a nobleman. He is an ordinary boy with a kind heart and curious eyes. He watches the world around him, listens to the voices in the marketplace, and wonders about things others do not. Why do people suffer? Why do soldiers leave their families? Why is love treated as something weak? His parents are kind, gentle. They teach him to care for others, to see goodness where others see only power. They teach him about faith, about hope, about something greater than the laws of men. The boy grows, and so do his questions. At night, he listens to his father's stories, tales of heroes, of battles, of emperors. But those do not interest him. He asks instead about the poor, about the sick, about those who have no voice. His father sighs, shakes his head. The world is cruel, Valentine, but kindness is rare. The boy remembers those words. As he grows, he sees more of the world. The markets filled with noise, the soldiers with cold eyes, the beggars with empty hands. He sees war, he sees loss, and he sees love, hidden, secret, yet strong. A mother holding her child close. A husband whispering goodbye before marching away. A girl slipping a flower into a soldier's hand. Love is everywhere, yet it is never spoken about, never praised. One day, he watches a man collapse in the street. People walk past without stopping. Valentine does not hesitate. He kneels beside him, gives him water, stays until help arrives. The man grips his hand, eyes full of gratitude. Valentine understands something in that moment. The world needs more kindness. Years pass. Valentine is no longer a boy. He studies, he learns, he becomes a man of faith. He chooses a path, not of war, not of politics, but of love. He becomes a priest, and his real journey begins. He listens to the people, to their fears, to their secrets. He sees lovers meeting in the shadows, afraid of the emperor's laws. He sees soldiers forced to leave behind the ones they love. He sees pain, and he cannot ignore it. The emperor believes love is a weakness. He believes soldiers should not marry. He believes Rome must be strong. But Valentine believes something different. Love is not a weakness. It is the greatest strength of all. And so, he makes a choice. A dangerous choice. A choice that will one day make him a legend. In the dead of night, behind locked doors, he performs his first secret wedding. A young couple, hands trembling, eyes full of hope. They say their vows. They promise their love. And Valentine gives them his blessing. It is only the beginning. More come to him. More whispers in the dark. More lovers desperate to be together. He risks everything. He knows the emperor's law. He knows the punishment. But he does not stop. Because love is worth the risk. The world will change. The emperor will find out. The guards will come. But that is a story for another time. For now, Valentine is a man who believes in love. And that belief will one day cost him everything. Chapter 3. The Secret Weddings. The night is quiet. The streets are empty. The only light comes from the moon, silver against the dark sky. The city sleeps, but in the shadows, love is awake. A young man and woman stand close, hands clasped, eyes filled with fear. They whisper to each other, voices trembling. They are in love. But love is forbidden. They have come here for hope. A door opens. A figure stands in the dim light of a candle. A priest, a man with gentle eyes, with a voice that calms their fears. Valentine. He does not ask if they are afraid. He knows they are. He does not ask if they understand the danger. He knows they do, but they have made their choice. And so has he. The room is small, hidden deep inside the church. A single flame flickers on the altar. The air is still. The couple kneels before him, their hands joined. They do not know what will happen tomorrow, but tonight they are here. Valentine raises his hands. His voice is steady. The sacred words fill the silence. The vows are spoken. 2 hearts, 2 souls, now one. The ceremony is short, simple, but powerful. The moment the words are spoken, their fear melts away. They look at each other, no longer afraid, no longer alone. They are married. Valentine places his hand on theirs. He blesses them. They smile through their tears, and then they disappear into the night. This is not the first time, and it will not be the last. More come. Some in the evening, some before the sun rises. Lovers, desperate, fearful, but determined. Some are soldiers, ordered to leave for battle, knowing they may never return. Others are young, full of hope, willing to risk everything for the one they love. They all come to him. They all trust him. And he does not turn them away. For weeks, for months, Valentine performs the sacred ceremonies. He speaks the words. He joins their hands. He gives them his blessing. But secrets do not stay hidden forever. Rumors spread. Whispers grow louder in the streets, in the markets, in the halls of the emperor's palace. The soldiers hear them. The noblemen murmur. The law is being broken. The emperor learns the truth. He listens in silence, his face like stone. His law has been ignored. His orders have been disobeyed. A man has dared to challenge him. Valentine. Claudius does not shout. He does not rage. He does not need to. His word is law. His anger is death. He gives the command. Find him. Stop him. Arrest him. The guards move quickly. They do not wait for morning. They do not knock. They break down the doors. Valentine does not fight. He does not run. He stands in the dim candlelight, calm, his hands folded before him. The soldiers surround him. Steel against faith, power against love. A final wedding remains unfinished. The couple stands frozen, eyes wide with terror. Valentine turns to them, his voice gentle. Go. The bride hesitates. Her hands shake. The groom grips her arm. They look at him one last time before disappearing into the night. The guards seize him. Chains close around his wrists. A torch flickers. The flame sways. Shadows dance against the stone walls. They drag him away. The door slams shut behind them. The streets are empty once more. The city sleeps again. But love does not. Love is awake. Love is alive. And love will never die. Chapter 4. The Emperor's Wrath. The palace stands high above the city, golden and cold. Inside, the air is heavy. The walls are lined with stone. Torches flicker, casting shadows that stretch across the marble floors. The throne room is silent, until a voice shatters the stillness. Who dares to defy me? The emperor's voice is deep, sharp, filled with anger. Claudius II does not like to be challenged. His orders are law. His power is absolute. And yet, someone has disobeyed him. A traitor. A man who has broken the rules. A priest who whispers vows in the dark, who joins lovers in secret. A rebel against the empire. The emperor stands. His hands clench into fists. His face is hard. His eyes dark. He looks at the messenger before him, a soldier dressed in armor, standing stiff and afraid. The emperor's voice cuts through the silence once more. Where is he? The soldier bows his head. Still in the city, my lord. A long silence follows. The emperor walks slowly to the window. Below, the streets stretch out before him. People move through the city, unaware of the storm that is about to break. Claudius II exhales, slow and controlled. Then, in a single breath, he gives the order. Find him. Stop him. Arrest him. The streets are quiet. The city does not know what is coming. Behind closed doors, lovers whisper, afraid. The news has spread. Valentine is in danger. The priest knows it too. He stands in his chapel, the candlelight flickering around him. He is not afraid, but he is ready. He has seen this day coming. He has known from the moment he first joined a couple in secret that this moment would arrive. He touches the altar one last time. He breathes in the scent of wax and burning oil. The silence feels different tonight. Heavy, waiting. Then, the sound of boots. A crash. A door slamming open. The air is filled with the clang of metal, the sharp cries of men. Torches blaze, their flames casting wild shadows across the walls. The soldiers have come. They move quickly, their faces hard, their hands on their swords. The leader steps forward. He does not speak at first. He only looks at the man before him. A priest, unarmed, calm. You are under arrest, the soldier finally says, "Valentine does not move. He does not fight. He does not run. He only nods." "Then let us go," he says simply. The soldiers hesitate. No pleading, no resistance. It is not what they expected, but they do not question it. Orders are orders. They take him by the arms, pull him forward. The chains are cold around his wrists. Outside, the streets are empty. The city sleeps. The sky is dark. The stars seem far away. As they walk through the narrow alleys, the wind rises. A curtain shifts in a window. Somewhere, a door closes softly. People are watching, but no one speaks. No one dares to stop them. The palace gates rise high before them. The doors open with a heavy groan. Inside, the air is colder. The torches burn lower. The emperor is waiting. He sits on his throne, watching as the guards bring the prisoner before him. For a long moment, he says nothing. He studies the man in chains, a priest, a man of faith, a man who believes in love. Claudius leans forward, his expression unreadable. "Do you know why you are here?" Valentine meets his eyes. His voice is steady. "Because I married those who love each other." The emperor's face tightens. His fingers grip the arm of his throne. "You broke my law." The priest does not look away. "Your law is cruel." A dangerous answer. The guards shift. The tension in the room thickens. The air itself seems to hold its breath. Claudius stands, his presence towering over the man before him. "Do you not fear me?" Valentine's voice is soft but clear. "No." The emperor's eyes burn with something unreadable. Rage, curiosity. Even he does not know. He studies the man before him, so calm, so certain. A long silence follows. Finally, the emperor speaks again. His voice is quiet but firm. "Take him to the prison. We shall see how long his faith lasts." The guards obey. Valentine is pulled away, led through dark corridors, through iron gates, through the cold and the silence. The doors slam shut behind him. He is alone. But he does not regret anything. Not one moment. Not one wedding. Not one vow. Love is worth it, even now, even in chains. Even if this is the end. Chapter 5. The Prisoner of Rome. The door crashes shut. The sound echoes through the stone walls. Heavy, final. Valentine does not move. He sits on the cold ground, his back against the rough wall. His hands rest in his lap, the chains heavy around his wrists. The air is damp. The room is dark. A single torch burns in the hallway, its light flickering against the iron bars. The guards are gone. He is alone. For the first time in his life, silence surrounds him. No whispers of lovers, no voices in the church, no hurried footsteps in the night. Only the sound of water dripping from the ceiling, the distant shuffle of a rat. This is his world now. A small, empty cell in the heart of Rome. He closes his eyes. He breathes in, slow and steady. He knew this would happen. He knew the emperor's wrath would come. But he does not regret anything. Not one moment. Not one marriage. Because love is worth it. Hours pass, maybe days. Time moves differently in the dark. Footsteps approach, slow, careful. The light from a torch flickers through the bars. Someone is watching. Valentine lifts his head. He sees a shadow beyond the iron door. A man stands there, silent, staring at him through the bars. His clothes are thick, his hands strong. A soldier? A guard? Number. This man is different. The jailer. The master of this place. The one who holds the keys. The man does not speak at first. He studies the prisoner before him. This priest, this man who dared to defy the emperor. A traitor, they call him. A fool. But in the flickering light, he does not look afraid. Finally, the jailer clears his throat. You are Valentine? The voice is rough, unused to kindness. Valentine nods. I am. A pause. The jailer does not move. His face is unreadable. Then, without another word, he turns and walks away. The sound of his boots fades into the distance. Valentine exhales. The darkness swallows him again. The next day, he hears the steps again. This time, they are lighter, softer. Not the jailer. Someone else. The torch outside his cell flickers, and a figure appears. A girl, small, with bright eyes that search the darkness. She holds something in her hands, a piece of bread, a small cup of water. She hesitates, then kneels by the bars. You must be hungry. Her voice is gentle, unsure. She pushes the food through the opening. Valentine watches her. He takes the bread, his fingers brushing hers for just a moment. Warmth, kindness. Thank you, he says softly. She smiles, just a little. Then, before he can say more, she disappears into the shadows. The girl returns. Every day, She brings something, a piece of fruit, a candle, a quiet word. She does not treat him like a traitor. She does not look at him with fear. She listens. Valentine speaks of hope, of love, of faith. He tells her stories, and she listens with wide eyes. She tells him about the world outside, the market, the streets, the sun shining over the city. And she tells him a secret. Her eyes do not see clearly. The world is blurred, lost in shadows. Since she was a child, she has lived in half darkness. Sometimes, she whispers, I wonder what it would be like to see the stars. Valentine does not answer right away. He watches her, sees the longing in her face. Then, slowly, he reaches through the bars and takes her hand. His touch is warm, steady. The heart, he says gently, sees more than the eyes ever will. A tear slips down her cheek. She does not pull away. Time is running out. The guards whisper. The emperor has given his order. Valentine will not leave this prison alive. The girl does not know yet. She only knows that her friend is growing weaker, that the light in his eyes is fading. One evening, she presses her hands to the cold iron bars. I don't want you to die. Valentine gives her a small, sad smile. Love never dies, he says softly. The girl wipes her eyes. Then tell me one last story. And so he does. He speaks of light, of hope, of a love that lasts forever. His voice is steady, even as his hands grow weak. She listens, holding on to every word, because deep inside, she knows this will be the last time she hears his voice. Chapter 6. The Jailer's Daughter. The prison is dark. The walls are thick. The air is cold. The world outside is full of life, full of movement. But in here, time stands still. Valentine sits in the shadows. His hands rest in his lap, the chains heavy on his wrists. His body is weak, but his spirit is strong. He listens to the silence, to the distant voices of guards, to the echo of footsteps on the stone floor. Then, a new sound. Light. Software. Careful. Someone is coming. A flicker of torchlight appears beyond the bars. A small hand reaches forward. A piece of bread, a cup of water, a simple kindness in a place of suffering. He looks up. A girl stands there. Her face is young, but her eyes are full of questions. She does not look at him with hate. She does not see a traitor, a prisoner, a man condemned to die. She sees a person. "Eat," she says, her voice barely a whisper. He takes the bread, his fingers brushing hers for a brief moment. Warmth, humanity, something rare in this place. "Thank you," he says softly. She nods. Then, just as quickly as she arrived, she is gone. She returns the next day, and the next. Each time, she brings something. A candle, a blanket, a quiet word. At first, she says little. She watches, listens, but as the days pass, she begins to speak. "My father is the jailer," she tells him one evening. "He says, 'You are dangerous.'" Valentine smiles, his chains clinking as he shifts. "Do I seem dangerous to you?" She hesitates, then shakes her head. "No." And so, she stays. She asks him questions about the world beyond the prison, about the people he married, about love, about faith. He answers them all. She listens, her eyes wide. No one has ever spoken to her like this before. No one has told her that love is stronger than fear. No one has made her believe that kindness can change the world. And slowly, she begins to see things differently. One evening, she comes with a secret of her own. She hesitates before speaking, her fingers tightening around the bars. "I was born with weak eyes," she whispers. "I cannot see clearly. The world is always blurred." Valentine studies her face. He sees the pain there, the longing, the wish she does not speak aloud. "Sometimes," she continues, her voice trembling, "I wonder what it would be like to see the sky, to see the stars." The priest does not answer right away. He reaches through the bars, his fingers resting lightly on hers. His touch is warm, steady. "The heart sees more than the eyes ever will," he says gently. A tear slips down her cheek. She does not pull away. Days turn into weeks. The city outside moves on, unaware of the quiet moments shared in the depths of the prison. But time is running out. The girl hears the whispers. The guards speak in hushed voices. The emperor has given his final order. The prisoner will not leave this place alive. Her heart pounds as she grips the bars of the cell. There must be a way to stop this. Valentine shakes his head. Some things cannot be changed. She wipes her eyes. It isn't fair. He smiles, a small, sad smile. Love is never fair, but it is always worth it. She closes her eyes, taking a shaky breath. Then tell me one last story. And so he does. He speaks of faith, of hope, of a love that never fades. His voice is calm, steady, full of warmth. She listens, memorizing every word, holding on to the sound of his voice. Because deep inside, she knows this will be the last time she hears it. Chapter 7. Love Behind Bars. The days pass, slow and silent. The prison is always dark, always cold, but something has changed. The girl returns again and again. She no longer stands at a distance. She no longer fears the man in chains. She brings him bread, fresh fruit, warm blankets. But more than that, she brings him something greater. Her time. She sits beside the bars, her hands resting on the cold iron. Her voice is quiet but steady. She asks him about the world outside, about the places he has seen, about the people he has met. Valentine speaks. He tells her about the streets filled with voices, the golden light of the afternoon sun, the laughter of children playing by the fountains. He tells her about love, how it is whispered in the dark, how it is stronger than kings, how it can never be truly taken away. She listens, and she begins to understand. She never thought much about love before. It was something distant, something for others. A word spoken in stories, nothing more. But now, it feels different. Each time she visits, her heart beats faster. She waits for the sound of his voice, for his quiet smile. She finds herself thinking of him long after she has left. Why? She does not know. Or maybe she does. One evening, she stays longer than usual. The torches in the hallway burn low. The city outside is silent. She grips the bars, her fingers pressing into the iron. "You are not afraid," she says softly. Valentine tilts his head. Of what? She hesitates. Of what will happen to you? A small smile touches his lips. Fear is only strong if we let it be. She looks down. I don't want you to die. The words slip from her lips before she can stop them. Her eyes burn, her hands tighten around the bars. She has never said this before, never let herself feel it. But now, she cannot deny it. This man, this prisoner, this priest, she cares for him. Valentine watches her. He sees the way her shoulders shake, the way her breath trembles. He does not need to ask what is in her heart. He knows. But he also knows something else. This is not a love that can last. Slowly, he reaches through the bars and takes her hand. His fingers are rough, but his touch is gentle. Love is not about holding on, he says softly. It is about giving. A tear slips down her cheek. Then why does it hurt? He does not answer right away. He only squeezes her hand, letting her feel the warmth of his skin, the strength still left in him. Because it is real. That night, she cannot sleep. She turns in her bed, her thoughts tangled. She presses her hands to her chest, trying to quiet the ache inside her. This was not supposed to happen. He is a prisoner, a man condemned, a man she cannot save. But love does not ask for permission. It does not wait for the right moment. It simply arrives. And now it is here. The next day she returns, her heart pounding. He is waiting, sitting in the same place, hands resting in his lap. His face is calm, as if he already knows what she is about to say. She kneels by the bars. She takes a shaky breath. I don't want you to go. His eyes soften. I know. She grips the iron. There must be a way to save you. A sad smile, a slow shake of the head. Some things cannot be changed. Her throat tightens. Then what do I do? Valentine lifts his hand, brushes her fingers with his. His voice is barely above a whisper. You remember. Tears fill her eyes. You keep love alive. The guards are coming. She hears them in the distance, their footsteps heavy against the stone. Time is slipping away. She looks at him one last time, memorizing every detail. The lines on his face, the kindness in his eyes, the way he holds his head high despite everything. A single tear falls onto her hand. I will never forget, she promises. Valentine smiles. I know. Chapter 8. The Blind Girl's Wish. The prison is quiet. The night is cold. The air feels heavy, filled with something neither of them can name. A flickering torch casts long shadows on the walls, but she does not see them. She never has. The world has always been a blur, soft shapes with no edges, light and darkness mixing together. She knows the colors of the sky only because others have told her. She knows the beauty of flowers, the shimmer of the stars, the gentle glow of the moon, but only in stories. She closes her eyes as if it makes a difference. It doesn't. Valentine sits close to the bars, watching her, listening to the soft sound of her breathing. She is strong. She is kind. But tonight, she is something else. sad. Her fingers curl around the iron, her face tilted down. Then, in a voice so quiet he almost doesn't hear it, she whispers, "I wish I could see just once." The words stay in the air, floating between them. He says nothing at first. He only watches the way her hands tremble, the way her lips press together as if she is afraid to say more. She knows it is impossible. She knows no wish can change what has always been. But still, she dreams. Valentine's heart aches. What can he do? She doesn't expect an answer. She doesn't expect anything at all. But then, he reaches through the bars, his fingers brushing against hers, a light touch, a small comfort. "The world is full of wonders," he says softly. "Not all of them can be seen." She smiles, just a little. "But I want to see you," she whispers. "I want to see the sky. I want to see the stars, just once." A lump forms in his throat. He cannot promise her that. He cannot change what is, but he can give her something else. Hope. "Close your eyes," he says gently. She hesitates, then obeys. "Tell me what you feel." She takes a slow breath. The cold air. What else? She shifts slightly. The warmth of your hand. He smiles. "Good. Now, listen." She tilts her head. The prison is silent, but not completely. "The wind," she whispers. "It moves through the bars." "Yes," he says. "And what else?" She listens more closely. Somewhere far away, a bird sings. A soft, lonely sound. She had never noticed before. A tear slips down her cheek. "I hear the world," she says. "I feel it." Valentine squeezes her hand. "Then you see more than most ever will." She stays quiet for a long time. Her heart feels lighter, but something still lingers inside her. A longing, a wish she cannot erase. She looks in his direction, her unseeing eyes filled with emotion. "Do you believe in miracles?" Valentine does not answer right away. He has seen love defy the strongest laws. He has seen people risk their lives for each other. He has seen light shine even in the darkest places. "Yes," he says finally, "I do." She holds on to that word. She holds on to him. The next morning, the guards come earlier than usual. Their steps are loud, their voices sharp. The air shifts. Something is different. She feels it before she hears the truth. They are coming for Valentine. She presses herself to the bars, her fingers gripping the cold iron. No, she breathes. Not yet. He lifts his head, his face calm. He knew this day would come, but seeing her like this, it breaks something inside him. The guards unlock the door. The chains rattle. She feels panic rise in her chest. "Wait!" she cries. "Please!" One of the guards hesitates, just for a moment. Valentine turns to her, his voice soft but strong. "I have one last gift for you." She shakes her head, tears streaming down her face. "I don't want a gift," she whispers. "I want you to stay." He lifts his fingers to her cheek, wipes away a tear. "Love is forever. You will never lose me." She lets out a broken breath. Then, as he pulls away, something happens. Light. A flicker. A shift. For the first time, something changes. She gasps, blinks. Shapes come into focus. Shadows. Colors. The world is not clear, not yet. But it is something. A miracle. She looks at him, really looks at him, and she sees warmth. She sees kindness. And then he is gone. The prison door slams shut. The guards lead him away, their hands firm on his arms. She stands frozen, her heart pounding, her breath unsteady. But for the first time in her life, she sees the stars. Chapter 9. A miracle in the dark. The world is silent. The prison walls are cold. The air is thick with the weight of something unseen, something waiting to happen. She stands in the dim light, her heart racing, her breath uneven. Valentine is in chains. The guards are near. The moment is slipping away. She cannot let go. Her hands reach through the iron bars, desperate to hold on to him, to keep him here just a little longer. Her fingers tremble. Her throat is tight. She does not want to say goodbye. His touch is gentle, warm against her skin. A small comfort in a place of sorrow. He does not speak at first. He only watches her, a quiet sadness in his eyes. She looks up at him, tears in her voice. "I wish I could see you." He does not hesitate. He lifts a hand, presses his fingers softly against her eyelids. His touch lingers, steady and calm. His voice is low, filled with something she cannot name. Then see. A breath. A pause. A moment stretched between them. And then, light, a flicker, a spark, a sudden rush of something new. Shapes form in the darkness. Shadows take shape. The world that was once only whispers and distant glows becomes something real. Her heart pounds. She blinks. And for the first time, she sees. The bars of the prison, the stone walls, the flickering light of a torch burning nearby, and then him. His face is clearer than she ever imagined. Kind eyes. A strong, steady presence. A man who has given everything for love. Her hands fly to her face, her fingers pressing against her eyes. A shaky breath escapes her lips. I can see. Valentine smiles. Then you have been given a gift. She turns, looking around, taking in every detail. The world is no longer darkness. It is color, shape, movement, a miracle. But the miracle comes at a price. The guards do not care for wonders. They do not pause to ask questions. Orders are orders. The emperor's will must be done. One of them steps forward, seizing Valentine by the arm. It is time. Her joy fades. Reality returns, heavy and cruel. No, she cries, reaching for him. You can't take him. The guard does not answer. Chains clink. Boots scrape against the stone floor. Valentine does not resist. He stands tall, his face calm, his hands steady. He knew this day would come. He knew love always comes with sacrifice. She grips the bars, her nails digging into the metal. Please, her voice cracks. There must be another way. He turns to her, his expression soft but firm. Do not be afraid. Tears stream down her face. Her fingers slip from the iron. She can see now. But what good is sight if she must watch him disappear? The hallway is long. The torches flicker against the stone walls, casting shadows that stretch and twist. The air is cold, damp, filled with the quiet steps of men marching forward. Valentine walks among them, unchained, unshaken. One of the guards glances at him, confused by the calm in his eyes. Most prisoners beg, fight, plead for mercy, but not him. He walks with peace, as if he has already won. Because he has. Behind him, far away now, the girl watches through her tears. Her heart is breaking, but her eyes remain open. She will never forget this moment. Never forget him. Never forget the man who showed her the world. Outside, the sky stretches wide. The stars burn bright, watching over everything. She stands at the gates of the prison, looking up. The darkness that once surrounded her is gone. The world is full of light, and even though he is gone, she will carry his light forever. Chapter 10. The Final Message. The prison is silent. The torches burn low, their flames flickering against the damp stone walls. The air is heavy, thick with something unseen, something waiting. Footsteps echo in the distance, slow, steady. A sound that carries the weight of finality. They are coming. Valentine sits on the cold ground, his hands resting in his lap. His body is weak, but his spirit is unshaken. He has known this moment would come. He has felt its shadow growing closer with each passing day. Now, it is here. The door creaks open. The guards stand in the doorway, their expressions hard, their orders clear. The emperor has spoken. There will be no trial, no last request, no mercy. His time has come. But before he leaves, he has something to do. She stands in the hallway, her hands pressed to her chest. Her heart races. Her breath comes in short, panicked bursts. The girl who once lived in darkness now sees everything. And what she sees now, she cannot bear. Her father warned her. He told her not to grow attached. He told her that nothing could change what had already been decided. But love does not listen to warnings. Love does not follow rules. She sees the guards, their faces unreadable. She sees the chains, cold and unrelenting. And she sees him, standing tall, calm, waiting. Her voice breaks as she whispers, "No." Valentine turns to her. His eyes, filled with warmth, meet hers. He does not speak at first. He only watches her, as if memorizing her face, as if holding on to this last moment. Then, slowly, he reaches into his robe. His fingers pull out a small, folded piece of parchment. A letter. His final message. She does not move as he places it in her hands. The paper is rough, its edges worn. Her fingers shake as she closes them around it, pressing it to her heart. Tears spill down her cheeks. What does it say? Valentine smiles, just a little. You will know when you read it. Her grip tightens. She does not want to let go. She does not want to say goodbye. But the guards move forward. Their hands close around his arms. The chains rattle. The torches flicker. He is leaving. Her voice breaks. Please, don't go. Valentine does not fight. He does not plead. He only looks at her, his expression gentle, his voice steady. Love is forever. She watches as they lead him away, her vision blurred with tears. The walls close in around her. The sound of his footsteps fades. Then silence. The cell is empty. The light of dawn filters through the high, barred window. The city outside wakes, unaware of what has been lost. She stands alone, the letter still clutched in her hands. The air is cold, but she does not feel it. The world is quiet, but inside her, a storm rages. She does not open it right away. She is afraid of the finality, afraid of the truth that waits inside. But she knows she must. With trembling fingers, she unfolds the parchment. The ink is dark, the handwriting careful, steady. She takes a breath, and then she reads. The words are simple. They do not speak of fear. They do not speak of sorrow. They speak only of love. He tells her to be strong. He tells her to believe. He tells her that even in the darkest moments, love will always shine through. And at the bottom, just 3 small words. From your Valentine. Her breath catches. Her hands press against the letter, holding it close as if it were a part of him. The weight of the words settles into her heart, filling the empty space he left behind. Tears slip down her face, but they are not just of sadness. They are of love. Outside, the city moves on. People walk through the streets, unaware of the loss that lingers in the prison walls. But she knows, and she will remember. She will carry his words with her always, his final message, a message of love, a message that will never fade. Chapter 11. From your Valentine. The morning is cold. The city wakes slowly, unaware of what is about to happen. The streets fill with merchants, soldiers, beggars. Life continues as it always has. But in the prison, time stands still. She sits alone, the letter in her hands. The paper is thin, worn at the edges. Her fingers tremble as she holds it close. She has read it once, twice, 100 times. Yet each time her heart aches the same. The words are simple. The message is clear. But what they mean, she can barely understand. Remember me, he writes, for love never dies. Tears blur her vision. She presses the letter to her chest, as if it can keep him here, as if it can stop what is coming. But nothing can stop it now. Outside, the sun rises, and today will be his last. The guards move through the corridors, their steps heavy against the stone floor. They do not speak. There is no need. Everyone knows what will happen. He walks between them, his hands bound, his shoulders straight. He does not fight. He does not plead. His face is calm, his eyes filled with something no prison can take away. Peace. As he steps outside, the morning air brushes against his skin. The sky is a soft gray, the wind carrying the scent of the city, the smell of fresh bread, of burning wood, of life moving forward without him. A crowd has gathered. Faces watch in silence. Some are curious, some are afraid, but a few understand. Among them, a girl stands in the shadows, the letter hidden in her hands. She cannot speak. She cannot move. Her heart is breaking. He does not look for her. He does not need to. He knows she is there, and that is enough. The guards lead him to the place where it will end. The emperor's orders have been clear. There is no mercy, no chance for freedom. He kneels. The air is still. The city, so loud just moments before, seems to hold its breath. A voice calls out, asking for his final words. He does not speak of pain. He does not curse the men who have brought him here. He does not beg for his life. Instead, he speaks of love. He tells them that love is greater than fear, that love is stronger than kings, than laws, than death itself. And then he closes his eyes. The world moves on. The city does not stop. The markets open. The soldiers continue their watch. The emperor sits in his palace, untouched by the life he has taken. But something has changed. The girl walks through the streets, the letter hidden in her pocket. The words stay with her, repeating in her mind. From your Valentine. 2 simple words, but they mean everything. She presses her hand against her heart. He is gone. But his love remains. And love never dies. Years pass, seasons change. The world forgets many things. But his name is not lost. His story is whispered from one heart to another. And one day, long after he is gone, people begin to write their own messages. They sign them with the same words. From your Valentine. A name, a promise, a reminder that love will always find a way. And in the end, that is all that matters. Chapter 12. The Day of Love. The morning air is crisp. The sky is a pale gray, the sun hidden behind thick clouds. The city is awake, but it is not like any other day. The streets are not filled with the usual noise of merchants calling out, of carts rolling over the stone roads. Today, the people whisper. Today, they wait. A man is being led through the streets. His hands are bound, his steps slow but steady. The guards walk beside him, their faces unreadable. They have done this before. They will do it again. But this time, it is different. The crowd gathers, silent, watching. Some lower their heads, some look away. Others cannot turn their eyes from him. A priest, a man of faith, a believer in love. And now, a man walking toward his end. She stands at the edge of the crowd, her hands clenched, her breath shallow. The letter is pressed against her chest, hidden beneath her cloak. She feels it there, every word carved into her heart. From your Valentine. Her eyes burn, but she does not cry. Not yet. Not here. He would not want that. She wants to run to him, to push through the guards, to beg for mercy. But she knows the truth. No words will change what is about to happen. No plea will soften the emperor's law. Still, she stays. She will not leave. She will not look away. If this is the last time she will see him, she will remember everything. The square is quiet. The crowd presses closer. The moment is near. Valentine does not speak. He does not tremble. He kneels, his head bowed, his lips moving in silent prayer. His face is calm. His heart is full. A soldier steps forward. His grip tightens on the handle of his sword. He hesitates, just for a moment. Then, steel meets stone. And the world is never the same again. The crowd slowly begins to fade. People turn, whispering to one another, voices low. They have witnessed something, but they do not yet understand. They have seen a man die, but they do not yet know that his story is just beginning. The girl does not move. She stands in the emptying square, her hands still pressed to her chest. The letter is warm against her skin, as if it still carries his touch. She finally allows herself to cry. Not for what was lost, but for what will live on. Time moves forward. The seasons change. The city forgets many things. But his name is not lost. His story is told. First in whispers, then in words, then in traditions passed from one heart to another. People speak of him, of his kindness, of his belief that love should never be forbidden. And one day, they begin to mark the day of his passing. February 14th. Not as a day of sorrow, not as a day of death, but as a day of love. Across the world, people write messages of affection, of devotion, of love that cannot be broken. They send letters, they give gifts, they speak words that are meant to last forever. They sign them with a name. Not their own, but his. from your Valentine. A name, a promise, a reminder that love will always find a way. His story does not end in the square. It does not end in silence. It does not end in chains. It lives on. It will always live on. Because love never dies.